I know the title is juicy and it's worth a clickbait, but in reality, it is actually a really difficult question to answer. So, will I be answering it today in this video? Well, stick till the end of the video to know more, as this is my full review of the much popular Honor 9 Lite after 1 month. But before we do, my name is Jonathan, this is Tech Teachers, and let's get started. Subscribe and press the bell icon so that you don't miss any updates from the channel. So as always, let's start with the built-in design, and which turns out to be the USP of the device. Yes, apart from the pricing of course. So getting back to the device, my goodness, let's all take a moment to appreciate how beautiful this device looks. I mean, just look at it. No matter from which angle you look at it, you will fall in love with this device, and you can easily fool your friends saying this is a much expensive device than it actually is, and they might believe it as well unless they watch this video. Okay, let's get back to the business. So, at the front, on top, we have a 13 megapixel f2.2 camera along with a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera. We will get to that in a bit. Along with that, some sensors, an earpiece, and under that, we have a 5.65 inches 2160 by 1080p 18:9 IPS LCD display with a pixel density of 428 ppi, which looks stunning and is plenty sharp. Also, due to the fact that the bezels are minimal, Huawei, or rather Honor, had to go with on-screen navigation buttons, and under that we have the Honor branding. So let's flip the device, and at the back on top we have a similarly spec 13 megapixel f2.2 camera along with the 2 megapixel depth sensing camera. Yes, both the front and the back of the phone have same camera combo. And beside that, we have a secondary microphone and a single LED flash, and under that we have a super fast fingerprint sensor and the Honor branding. Yes, both the front and the back are made up of 2.5D curved glass, but it's not mentioned if that's Gorilla Glass or not, so take it with a grain of salt. And on the right we have the volume rockers along with the power lock and unlock button, both of which are made out of plastic, but they feel tactile and provide reasonably good travel. And on the left we have nothing but a hybrid slot, meaning you can use 2 SIM cards or a SIM and an SD card. And on the top we have nothing, meaning all IOs are at the bottom. So at the bottom we have a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is great, and it's funny we need to call it a feature these days. Thank you, Apple. And beside that we have a primary microphone, a micro USB port. Yeah, that's sad. Come on Huawei, it's 2018. You speak about AI and you provide a micro USB port. And right beside that we have a reasonably loud speaker grill, and speaking about reasonable, this device doesn't feel like built for the price it comes in. For that matter, it feels way premium than its competition, and I believe one can't admire it enough. I mean, I can sit here all day looking at the phone and still be surprised at its price. Now okay, enough about built-in design, let's talk software. So the Honor 9 Lite comes with EM or Emotion UI 8.2 built on top of Android 8.0 Oreo, which was again surprising considering that phones which are released a month after this Xiaomi came with Android Nougat, so props for Huawei for doing that. And speaking about Emotion UI, one will have a love or hate kind of relationship with it, but in a nutshell it's a rip-off of iOS, and the more I use this, I feel I'm using an unpolished version of iOS. But don't get me wrong, this UI is great with a ton of features like a 3-finger screenshot or a button which allows you to stretch any app to 18:9, which doesn't support it natively. Also, there is this theme engine which allows you to truly make your device yours. So that's great, but all this comes at a cost, and the cost being performance. No, the device isn't slow. For that matter, it's even faster than the Snapdragon 625 toting Redmi Note 5, but I regularly faced some frame drops here and there. Also, the animations are too fast, up to the point where I felt that even while opening apps, there were frames being dropped, but luckily it wasn't the case. And the gaming on this device wasn't bad either, and with moderate to heavy titles, the Mali TA30 MP2 GPU had no issues and the phone dropped frames very occasionally. So all in all, you can say that this is a fast phone, only bottlenecked by its UI, and I hope Huawei will address it and make it faster, providing some updates. Now that we're done with build, software and performance, let's talk the part that you all been waiting for, the cameras. Yes, not just camera but cameras, as there are literally 4 cameras, 2 at the front and 2 at the back. But are those just numbers or they actually work? Well, they do for some extent. The first thing, the camera app or software is feature packed, and if you know and love using Pro Mode on smartphones, then you will fall in love with the camera app. But Pro Mode isn't always everyone's cup of tea, so what about Auto Mode? Well, I'll sit back and let these pictures speak for themselves. The 13 megapixel f2.2 camera does a pretty good job of maintaining the sharpness, although I would have loved to see the dynamic range to be good, but it actually is mediocre and gets the job done. Sometimes the highlights are blown off, but other than that it does a fairly good job of maintaining the details in the picture. And one thing worth noting is, even if you turn off the beauty mode, the pictures for some reason always come with some artificial sharpening and are a bit soft and are a tad oversaturated, and I've checked twice and there is no setting to remove it, and depending on how you take it, you will love or hate it. I personally don't like it, but I can see people appreciating it. And it's 2018, and I can imagine a phone without portrait mode in it, and this device also has one. And to my surprise, thanks to the 2 megapixel depth sensor available, this actually does a pretty good job of blurring the background. Although the edge detection isn't the best in the business, but it still looks good considering the price. And speaking of which, you can see the difference it makes between a non-portrait mode picture and a portrait mode one. See the difference? And another thing worth mentioning is, despite the hardware supporting 4K videos, the Honor 9 Lite does not support native 4K recording and is capped at 1080p 30 FPS. But still, the videos look reasonably sharp and they have plenty of detail. Again, the dynamic range isn't the best in the business, but still gets the job done. And another thing that gets the job done is in regards to stabilization. Yes, it's no Redmi Note 5 Pro to kill the stabilization game, but it's not bad. And you can definitely get some good videos out of this bad boy. Also, the front camera, as it has the same combo as the Red, it produces similar looking results. The selfies are sharp and with plenty of details thanks to the 13 megapixel f2.2 camera. And yes, they look a tad oversaturated, but I will take it. And the portrait mode surprisingly works better than that of the rear camera, despite sporting the same 2 megapixel depth sensing camera. And you can also adjust the blur after the fact, which is great. And overall, I feel the camera performance is better than anything in this segment, minus the Redmi Note 5 and the year-old Moto G5 Plus. And with that being said, let's talk battery. So the Honor 9 Lite is powered by a 3000 mAh battery, and the battery life is surprisingly good. And I constantly got over 4 to 5 hours of screen on time with my kind of usage. And my kind of usage involve internet, that is 4G on all day, constantly using Instagram and WhatsApp, checking some mails and using camera a lot, playing some mild games, and with my kind of usage, I always ended up with more than 30% juice left. And to my surprise, it also tops off quickly using the bundled charger. So all in all, on the battery front, Huawei, despite providing just 3000 mAh battery capacity, has done great with optimization and has provided a killer package. And now let's take a minute discussing the minutiae. So the sound quality from the single downward firing speaker is surprisingly good and it's plenty loud. Also, the sound quality from 3.5mm headphone jack is top notch, no pun intended. The stereo reception and call quality from the earpiece is loud and clear. The Wi-Fi reception also works great. There is a hybrid SIM tray, which means that you can use 2 SIM cards or use a SIM and an SD card slot for expansion. Also, the age-old question, yes, this phone does have a gyroscope sensor, despite the fact that its bigger brother Honor 7X does not have one, but it does indeed have it. And once we are done discussing all that, let's talk price. So the Honor 9 Lite starts at a price of 10,999 INR for the 3GB RAM and 32GB storage, and goes all the way up to 14,999 INR for the 4GB RAM and 64GB storage. That's about $180 and $230 respectively. And for that price, especially the base variant for just 10,999 INR, I feel the Honor 9 Lite is a steal and is must buy if you're looking to buy a phone in this segment. And I personally would suggest you to get this over the 4GB RAM variant, as the price for the 4GB RAM variant is getting you into the Redmi Note 5 Pro territory. So I would suggest you to skip this and get the 3GB RAM variant. And the hot question, if this phone is any better than the Redmi Note 5? Well, that's a yes and a no. Yes, because the Honor 9 Lite brings with you a great and premium built-in design, an awesome portrait mode camera, a good battery life, and comes with the latest version of Android. On the other hand, the Redmi Note 5, you are getting a decent but functional build, but a great battery life, although not portrait mode, but still better rear camera performance and $1,000 cheaper. So if you feel the build quality and the awesome portrait mode camera performance with full manual mode, also the bragging right of having 4 cameras is something important in your life, then spend a grand more than Redmi Note 5 and get this. You will not regret it. But if those features that I've just mentioned don't play much role in your buying decisions and battery life is something you absolutely want, then go with the Redmi Note 5. And so there you have it, my full review of the Honor 9 Lite after 1 month. So do you agree with what I had to say, or do you have a different opinion? Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. So that pretty much winds up the video. Hopefully enjoy the content. If you did and feel like the one who's privileged to have an awesome supporting audience like you're feeling, make sure to crack the like button. But if you thought this video sucked, you better know what to do. But if you loved it and want to see more such awesome videos dropping at least twice a week, then it's no better than hit the subscribe button. And yeah, do this to make sure you get notified whenever we upload a new video. And then this has been your host Jonathan from Tech Teachers, reminding you to check out my previous video, for which there's a card mentioned right here, or the link is somewhere in the description section below. And then thanks for watching.